I don't know if y'all noticed this, right? Before I show you this, because I had something pulled up. I don't know that y'all understand the gravity of the situation that we're standing in right now in the United States of America. I don't think y'all do. I think a couple people are waking up, but this podcast today, episode 40, is to explain that we are in a state that is as serious as cancer. As serious as cancer. Yes, as serious as cancer. Now, there is a potential vice president right now, JD Vance. Shout out to JD Vance. Shout out to him. I don't got no round of applause, but shout out to him. Right now, he's at the border, or he was at the border not too long ago. And he's talking about the southern border, and he's talking about what he's going to do and what did the Biden-Harris administration hasn't done with the southern border. There is 15 million, maybe more, that has already entered into the country. No, I'm not a politics podcast, but I'm kind of forced into this space because I can't stand to see the idiocracy and the blatant mismanagement of what this country was versus the push to becoming what it's gonna be if things like this do not stop. Let's hear a little bit about JD Vance right now.
Stop deportations on day one. They stopped construction of the border wall on day one. We see the border wall sitting here, ready to be completed behind us, and that can't happen because of Kamala Harris's administration. They reinstated catch and release, and they stopped remain in Mexico. So all of these asylum claimants who come to our border, they can now get released into our country because they're not forced to stay in Mexico while we adjudicate their asylum claims. And we have to remember that as terrible and idiotic as these policies were, they cause real human beings to suffer. A lot of you know my story, and I have been a little kid waiting.
In 2022, 23.37% of all fentanyl seized in the entire country was seized within 20 miles of where you're standing today. Please remember, nearly 200 Americans die every day from fentanyl. In 2022, 44% of all people illegally entering the country, these are not the asylum-seeking migrants checking themselves at the port of entry. These are the people dressed in head-to-toe camouflage, doing everything they can to escape and evade capture, were apprehended within the Tucson sector of the United States Border Patrol. This crisis must be addressed, and we in Southern...
No, there's 200 people dying every day from fentanyl. 23.2% of that fentanyl is what's caught, not what's within the United States. That's what they catch. 23.2% comes from this border that is opened by the Biden and Kamala Harris administration. I don't think people understand how serious this election has become. This election has become so serious that, especially after the other day where Kamala Harris, she put on her black girl costume for the day. And she was like, oh, I know what's going to get these people that I don't have no type of relation to besides what I look like. I don't know any music that they do. I probably don't have a Jay-Z album in my iPhone. I'm gonna bring up a rapper on stage and she's gonna twerk and sexualize herself for votes. Y'all seen it time and time again, right? Y'all seen this shit time and time again. Kamala Harris, Megan Thee Stallion. Oh, free Tory, by the way. Kamala Harris, Megan Thee Stallion.
At Take 5?
Excuse the commercial. Like, look at this atrocity, bro. Look at this atrocity, bro. Look at this atrocity, bro. Do you understand the subject matter that Megan Thee Stallion has within her music? For the entire record, I don't know if she mute or takes out the curse words herself, or if this video has been edited to take out the curse words. But many of what she's saying has been blanked out. I want you to use your thinking cap, because it seems like some of you people still have not found your thinking cap under your beds, in your book bags, in your closets, in your attics, in your cars. You guys haven't found that thinking cap yet. There are a lot of people waking up right now to the corruption and the blatant ignorance of the Democratic Party. For everybody in the audience that's listening, watching on YouTube, whatever, if you have a family member, I don't care if they black, white, Asian, European, Indian, if you ask them a question and you ask, they tell you, I'm voting for Kamala Harris. Ask them why. Right? And if they say anything about identity politics, she looks like me, she's Jamaican, she's black, you may need to stop talking to those people. Now, I don't want to be rude, but it's to that point. Because let me show you this tweet, bro. First off, before I show you the tweet, she said she has the bright idea of bringing a rapper on stage that talks about the degradation of women, that talks about taking money from men, that talks about these men ain't shit, that talks about this and that, that just only pushes feminism, the toxic cancer of what feminism has become today. Back then, you know what feminism started as? Feminism started as, we could do what the men do. We want our own money. Let's get our own money. Cigarette companies, they saw that as an opportunity because now they have income coming in. We can sell these tobacco products to the women that now have jobs and want to vote and all that stuff, which is fine. Feminism today has become, you don't need a man. Secretly, you don't need a family neither, because a man, woman, plus a child is a real family, a strong family. You don't need a family neither. But they're not gonna tell you that. They're gonna push abortion. They're gonna push hoism. They're gonna push you not needing a man. They're gonna push you not needing masculinity in your life. They're gonna push you being extremely disobedient to whatever plans, motivations that the man has, because they developed your ego so big. Women out there, they develop your ego so big because of the influx of money that has been sent your way, the positions that you have been put in through either you got it through hard work or not a conspiracy through DEI. Because if a company doesn't have women, a black woman, doesn't have an Indian woman in their camp, doesn't have a transgender woman in their camp, doesn't have a gay woman in their camp, if it doesn't have something that's perceptively oppressed, their ESG scores, which many of you guys don't know what the ESG score is because a lot of you guys are ignorant and don't research. Let me tell you what the ESG score is. A ESG score has been invented by BlackRock, a company that owns 20, maybe they manage maybe $30 trillion worth of assets, maybe less, like 20 trillion. BlackRock. Okay, let's look up BlackRock, fellas. BlackRock Vanguard. Who is BlackRock? You guys need to look at what BlackRock is and how much they owe. Let me tell y'all something about BlackRock, man. BlackRock Inc. is an American multinational investment company founded in 1988, initially as an enterprise risk management and fixed income institutional asset manager, equals big money. BlackRock is the world's largest asset manager with US 10 trillion in assets under management as of December 31st, 2023. Now let me tell y'all about $10 trillion in assets. Do you know the debt, the amount of US debt that we're in right now in this country? 35 trillion. So you have a company that can literally, with all its assets combined, take off $10 trillion of debt with for the entire United States of America. Do you guys understand how powerful that is? I can answer that question for you. Many of you don't, because many of you guys do not do your research. I had an argument on Discord, not really an argument, but just a disagreement with one of my friends, man. So asleep and blind to what's actually going on. I said, yo, do you understand the weight of what's going on in this election? Do you understand what's at stake? Do you understand when a guy is been tried to be put to jail, that has been tried to be taken off ballots, that has been tried to be taken off just off his game, because now you put the entire agenda, the dark agenda of the shadow government, aka the deep state, you put that at risk because of your sheer existence, because you want to get rid of the swamp. Oh, you want to get rid of the swamp, huh? Oh, let me show you the guy that wants to get rid of the swamp right now. Legendary patriot. This guy right here, man. Patriot. Donald J. Trump. Now, since so many people are still very much asleep, all they see is a white rich guy. That's all they see. They see a white rich guy. They see a guy that said a couple of things that they ain't like. He said something about Mexicans crossing the border, rapists and murderers are crossing the border. Guess what? Those people that cross the border, It doesn't matter if they're Mexican, black, Sudanese. If they cross the border and they're rapists, murderers, then that's what they are. Of course, there are other people that came just for asylum, good people. The whole point of legal immigration, which this man is pushing right now, this man pushes legal immigration because we want to know, who are you? Who are you? Why are you here? With the Biden and Kamala Harris administration, they left the border wide open. You know what that means? Rapists get in, murderers get in, terrorists get in, carjackers get in, drug dealers get in, and the list goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. There is a couple of media places and platforms that I have unsubscribed to indefinitely because they're ignorant. Example number 1, the Joe Budden Podcast. Easily one of the biggest black media platforms. Joe, he's a smart guy just for the simple fact that he has created this platform from a very small thing to a very big thing. But the message that this man pushes on his platform, because he's still asleep or he's paid off by the left, which, don't let that theory that I have in my head come true. It's so blind to what's going on right now. I was a Patreon subscriber for $25. I just unsubscribed to that shit. Why, you ask? I unsubscribed to that shit because he had a podcast with Mark Lamont Hill, the most leftist dude, black dude that I've ever seen on media. One of the most leftist dudes. He asked him, I think he asked him, what is a woman, right? He's like, yo, what is a woman? The motherfucker said some bullshit that a leftist would say. And I skipped it. I watched maybe 5 more minutes of that hooah-nanny bullshit. And I was like, you know what? These guys are misinformed. They still see Donald Trump as some rich white guy going for office right now. They do not know his message. They do not know what he stands for. They do not know what he's pushing. They know nothing of the deep state. They still think that's conspiracy. What is the deep state? Do you know who George Soros is? Do you know who? Everybody knows who Jeffrey Epstein is, right? That's the tip of the iceberg. Do you know who the WEF is? Do you know who the World Health Organization is and what they want us to eat? Do you know why the farmlands are being burned down right now? Do you want to know? Do you know why BlackRock owns so much? Do you know why BlackRock made ESG scores? ESG score, by the way, you would have to, let me look up what an ESG score is, because I don't want to get it wrong. What is an ESG score? This is why BlackRock has so much power. And this is why your favorite companies are putting in transsexuals and oppressed people, whether they're qualified or not, in their positions, in their in everything, bro. DEI, ESG, same, really, brothers and sisters. They brothers and sisters, dog. See, they're not telling you what the ESG score is for. They're going around the fact of what it really is. Listen, a ESG score, bro. ESG score. One of the big things about the ESG score is the environment, right? So they say things like your carbon footprint has to go down. Your carbon footprint has to go down. Okay, if your ESG score is too low, we're not gonna give you no funding. We're not gonna give you no funding. Another thing about ESG and DEI, you have to hire an oppressed group within your company. I think they have to be a part of your board as well. If you don't have a certain number of these people, whether they're qualified or not within your company, your ESG score goes down and you cannot get a certain amount of money from us. You don't get a certain amount of investment from us, the people that own $10 trillion worth of assets. Another thing about BlackRock that you don't know, 10 to 15% of every board in the S&P 500. Let me ask you another question again, folks that are voting for Kamala Harris that have no common sense, that don't research. Do you know what companies are in the S&P 500? Why the S&P 500 is so famous in the stock market? S&P 500 is the Fortune 500. The companies that run everything. They make the most money. They just do the most. The most powerful countries in the most powerful corporations in the world are in the S&P 500. 10 to 15% of every single company is owned, managed in some type of way by BlackRock and Vanguard. For all the people that claim they know politics, you don't know who BlackRock is. You don't know what the gender affirming care is. You don't know the state of California. You don't know who Gavin Newsom is and why he is such a cancer to the state of California. You don't know who George Soros is. You don't know who Klaus Schwab is. You don't know who WHO is. You don't know how powerful BlackRock Vanguard is. Why the fuck are you talking politics? Joe Budden, you're probably you say you watch everything, right? You say you watch everything, bro. I have great respect for the company that you have created. I have great respect for that company, bro. Great respect. But your message that you're pushing is a bad message. Your grandmoms, your moms, your pops, your sisters, your cousins all have been indoctrinated into voting for the Democrat Party because you still think that they give a fuck about you. And you're pushing that to your people that watches your podcast, pay for your Patreon, subscribe to your Twitter, subscribe to your Instagram, subscribe to your brand. You push these guys. I think I still have some of this Patreon. I think I might have like 3 or 4 days left in this Patreon. Joseph Budden, man. You are the most hilarious dude on the internet. Easily the most hilarious dude, podcaster. You guys have great conversations. You guys have amazing conversations about everything but politics. You guys are pushing the wrong message in terms of what the Republican Party is. You know nothing of politics. You have cast members up there that are leftists that don't understand the damage that the Democratic Party has done to your city that you sit next to. In Jersey, you sit next to New York. The migrants are taking over that city. And they're coming to Jersey. If not, they're going to be there soon. Parks said, ignorantly, because he doesn't know about politics, just like everybody sitting in this room right here. Everybody sitting in this room. They know nothing about politics, right? They know nothing about politics. This guy right here is a fucking dope. Listen, they know nothing about politics. So they're going to say, yeah, man, JD Vance, he looks like such a racist. They know nothing about JD Vance. Donald Trump has so many policies. He's going to every state, country, city that he can within his rallies to gain as much support as he can. They have such a biases towards Donald Trump with their TDS that they don't even listen to his message. He's some white billionaire guy that they think is racist because they've been fed that soup that all of us have been fed. And we fell for the bullshit, the lies of the Democrat Party. We fell for the lies of the Democrat Party. For 80 plus years, we fell for the lies. Melissa Ford, super leftist. He doesn't seem like he's a leftist, but in front of the camera, he's gonna support whatever Kamala Harris is doing. Regardless of how stupid and ignorant this lady is and sounds on that mic, wherever she goes. This is a black prominent podcast that's supposedly independent. Why are you so scared to give your real opinions? It was about 97,000 times where I heard this same podcast, every single one of them say, you can't say that. You can't say that. When it comes to a topic that is sensitive, that needs to be discussed, such as politics. So since they want to discuss politics, they're going to make their alliances clear. If you got to pick a side, if you are with the left, if you are with the radical left, which is Kamala Harris, you are an enemy. Period. Because I know what I know about real politics and not the media games and propaganda that you've been feeding your audience. Not just Joe, anybody else is black that thinks the Democrats give a fuck. Within the 4 years, Donald Trump has done more for black people than that the Democrat Party has done for the past 16 years, if you ask me. So Donald Trump was at this rally, not a rally, but he was at this interview, NB something. He was at it was like a press conference or something. And there was this black journalist. They was like, yo. They asked him about a couple things. It was some questions about what you said about these 4 black congresswomen. This is what the left does. They use victimism, victimization, victimhood to push their message. And it's a bad way to push your message. It's a bad way to have healthy discussions. Victimization is literally the cancer that has put the black person, the colored person, the melanated person down in America for millennia. Yet we still use that card to get our point across when that card doesn't grant respect, not real respect. Let me look at Joe Budden. Let me look at let me show you something on X, man, that I put right. Let me show you this, bro. Let me show you this. This is what your favorite fucking politicians are doing, right? On X, I retweeted this. I said, shout out to the Biden administration once again for trying to steal an election by giving incentives to illegal immigrants. Exhibit A. The butcher of Wall Street, Marcel Kolovic's Instagram account posted this receipt right here. Right? This is a receipt. And you know what the receipt is from? It's from a Venezuelan illegal immigrant. Came to the United States because they heard we giving out money. Came to the United States. Went to the food spot. Used the EPT card that the Biden and Kamala Harris administration has given these folks so they could take another election and disregard a U.S. citizen's vote because they want to steal another election. EBT card balance $13,000. Food stamp balance $401.82. I don't know one person that ever had over 3,000, or maybe I'm lost, in food stamps. Shit, 1,000. That's American citizens. So Joe, with your powerful platform, you're pushing this, right? Because you want to vote for Kamala because she's black, and you don't want to say you vote for Trump because your friends that are still have TDS, Trump derangement syndrome. Y'all will vote for this lady that pops up every 3 years, just like Hillary Clinton did when it was time for her to get elected. I'm gonna be black today. I'm gonna use some hot sauce today. I'm gonna go to the chicken and waffles spot today. I'm gonna bring a rapper on stage today. I'm gonna switch my accent so I can sound black today. This is what you co-sign. You sit up there with Mark Lamont Hill, which a dude that doesn't have a spine left in his body because he also has TDS. You asked him questions on that podcast and he gave some horrendous answers, some politically correct answers. Some of the worst shit I've ever seen and heard. I was about 10 minutes into when y'all started talking about politics. I had to turn that shit off. I had to turn that shit off, bro. You need to do your research on what the Republicans are doing and will do and have done in 2016 to 2020. You need to do that. Then you get up there and speak actual message. You have a big platform and you're ill-advising and ill-informing your people of what's really at stake here. Gender-affirming care. You have children, nieces, cousins, nephews. If Kamala Harris gets in office, one of your cousins, nieces, nephews, sons, they might come up to you one day and be like, you know what? If they're women or girls, you know what? I want to be, no, if they're boys. Let's start with the boys. Hey, Joe. Hey, Uncle Joe. I think I want to be a girl. Actually, I am a girl. I want to get gender affirming care surgery or gender affirming surgery so I could cut my privates off and finally become a girl. That's California. That's Gavin Newsom. That's a Democrat. That's the deep state. Something you know nothing of. But you sit up there on your platform, comfortable, away from what's really going on. And you say, oh, I want to vote for a black woman just because she's black. That's cancer, bro. You are cancer to the ears of the people. The black people that listen to you when you talk politics. When you talk everything else in entertainment, you should stick to that. You are great at that. Awesome at that. Nobody touches you at that. When you're talking politics, you need to shut the fuck up. Respectfully. I'm no longer a Patreon member of the Joe Budden Podcast. I think my time to support his brand until he changes his message when it comes to politics, the real shit that's going on. I don't think I need to be there. My common sense has came to me in such crazy ways. I've been enlightened in such a astonishing way during 2020, because during 2016 and 2020, during that time, I had TDS as well, because my mom, grandmom, cousins, they didn't like Trump because of what the media said about him. And then I woke up around 2023. I just woke up 2022. I was like, you know what? This Biden Harris administration is shitty. They're doing nothing. What really woke me up was the Trump assassination. And I was like, wow, these guys really want to kill him. They really want to put him in jail. They really want to take him off the ballots. To yet no avail. You sit up there and do that with your message. Terrible. You know nothing that's going on, bro. Stick to hoes. Stick to talking about stripper culture. Stick to talking about what escort you dealt with that other year when you was with Ish. Stick to that. All funny, all entertainment. Stick to entertainment. When it comes to politics and the real shit going on, you need to stick to Listen, y'all need to go to PBD Podcast. Y'all need to listen to Alex Jones. Y'all need to listen to Tucker Carlson. Y'all need to listen to Joe Rogan. Y'all need to listen to people like that. These people, these black entertainers and musicians, you can't have respect for them because they're all part of the left. They all have this biases and they all still see color in delusional sense. Newsflash, this election ain't about black and white at all. This is about control versus freedom. Kamala Harris is control. Donald Trump, freedom. Kamala Harris, delusion. Donald Trump, common sense. Kamala Harris, gender affirming care. Donald Trump, not gender affirming care. Kids is 7, 8, 9 years old getting private parts cut off. Do you understand the message that you're pushing, sir? Do you understand that message? No, because you're ill-informed and refuse to get informed because you're so high up on this podcast pedestal. You got your nice watches, chains, jewelries, bitches, or whatever. Designer clothes. You finally took that Balenciaga off. It's only been since Balenciaga put that pedophile shit up there. You've been wearing Balenciaga for at least a year or two after that situation, but let's not talk about that. Get your facts correct and then really start talking and stop being scared because you got a bunch of women that don't like Donald Trump because they think he murdered all them, all their nieces and nephews or some shit. They really, son, black women think this man is Adolf Hitler, bro. And it's crazy. But anyway, man, I've been going on long enough. I don't know what I'm gonna call this episode. I was on a big rant and something that I had to do because it was just in my heart to do it. I'm out of here.